Aunt Mary's Cookies and Cafe is boarded up. Alright, let's see if we can get out of here. Jingle bells, jingle bells. I can't see around this car, which is, I think, sticking out. A big SUV. You're in North Kansas City. I just thought it was a coffee house. It says Colony, Rhino. It's like 3 places in one. The one is a place called Cheesy Street, then it's a bar called Rhino, and a coffee house called something. Wow. But the coffee house closes at 6 or 6:30, which, means they shut the espresso machine down. And I thought the coffee was open, but that's outside in the nice weather with the doggies and listen to some live music, edit my video, and then go home, which is what I'm doing now. Woohoo! And skedaddling here. Yeah, see. Pleasant evening. The temperature is, it says 77. I don't believe it. It's a little cooler than that. 70s. It actually, when the breeze was, so it is pretty windy. I think this is one of the 2 nice days of the year we have in Kansas City. One in the spring and one in the fall. It's going to get probably horribly hot and humid. They joke about that, and it's a southern thing about weather in the south and how it's just wet blanket humid and hotter than the hubs of hell. And well, that can be Kansas City too. I tried out back there. I might even try out their Cheesy Street. It sounds like they serve things like macaroni and cheese. Mozzarella sticks. I wouldn't make a habit of it, but I could go for some macaroni and cheese. Me and the doggy sat, laid down and went to sleep on the sidewalk. That's Jimmy. And Stella hid as far as she could underneath the small table I was sitting at and just sat there with her ears going like radar constantly, and her eyes just scanning for threats and swiveling her head on, looking all over the place, pretending that she's just a shadow. That's Stella. And of course, the live music, which was, it's like two places that are attached to each other with a walk through open doorway in between. The bar's on one side and the venue's on the other, and of course, the loud music booming, it makes Stella extra scaredy. What are you doing, Jimmy? You're kind of restless back there. Lately, especially with the beer flu, a dearth of, not Darth as in Darth Vader, but Darth as in lack of places you could go at night and just hang out. And the fam, we did some yard work, and they're all watching movies. It's kind of like movie night, and I'm kind of like, meh. I don't really like to sit at home and watch movies Friday and Saturday night. My personality, I like to go out and I'm not outgoing, like I'm an incredibly shy person, but I just like to go out and just, people watch and have a Coke or a coffee. It's a bit late for coffee, so the soda worked perfect. Most people would drink a beer or whatever. I'm not a beer person. Bleh. I was one of those kids that my dad handed me his beer and took all the romance and mystery out of it. It's like, I don't have any desire to drink beer, or if I do drink something alcoholic, I like sweet drinks. I'm a chick drink drinker. My favorite is Kahlua Mudslide. Of course, I have a sweet tooth, so it's like really, really fattening. I don't know if they still have wine coolers, but I used to like wine coolers. That was my drink of choice. If I were just at a party like in college and wanted to hang out, that's showing my age, actually. People insist you have something in your hand to drink. Okay, do you have a wine cooler? They still laugh at you. Real men drink beer. I'm like, right. I'll get back to you on that one. There's some beers that I like. I like a dark stout. The what do you call them? Some of them are really tasty, but for the most part, beer, I think, is in a very acquired taste. When we talk about a very bitter drink, it's like carbonated water and hops, I guess, and especially the swill that a lot of Americans drink. What are they? The pale beers, the Pilsner types. I don't know. Just never got into it. We have the Kansas City Brewery, forever and ever and ever. It's still, and they started about like around 1989 and grew huge, but then they were bought out by a Belgian beer maker, so now they're part of a big corporation. But a lot of people started drinking Boulevard when I was in college and really liked it. It was before 1989, because I remember I think I remember it back in the mid 80s. I don't know. Selectively remembering, I don't know. But They got a big brewery down on Southwest Boulevard, and I pass by it quite a lot. I guess they're still a local beer maker. I'm not sure if it's the same company that makes that makes the beer with the pink elephant on it, called DT beer or delirium tremens beer. You know, delirium tremens is a disease of an alcoholic, and supposedly if you drink too much alcohol, you can start seeing pink elephants. And the DTs are withdrawal symptoms if you don't have enough alcohol, and it's called tremens because it's characterized by tremors or shaking. Yes, alcohol is a very addictive drug. And I probably said the tremen part wrong. Tremens? I don't know. Maybe somebody can tell me how it's pronounced. People just usually shorten it and call it the DTs. I have witnessed some severe alcoholics in my lifetime. And that's another reason why I don't get into it so much, because there's been alcoholism in my family, and it's never been a good thing, and I don't see the attraction to it. And it's like just about any other drug. I think in many ways that alcohol is one of the worst drugs there are. And friend tell me this story. She used to work in one of her smaller markets that she worked at. She called it El Centro, California, which I guess is on the south part of the state, east of San Diego in the hot desert. And there's a huge penitentiary down there. And so the station she worked at, this small station, their beat was the penitentiary. She said, I spent a lot of time going to that place and going in that place, interviewing prisoners and doing prison stories. And she said, and I talked to a prison warden one time, and he said to me that almost everybody who was in that prison, locked up, many of them for life, many of them locked up for violent crimes. He said, to a man, almost every one of them did not commit their crimes sober. They were influenced by alcohol. And so it takes the person's rationality away. And he said many of them are different people when they aren't involved in drinking and drugs. And that's something I've witnessed a lot personally in my life. A lot of people, they would start drinking, and the next thing you know, they become violent. I had a roommate who was prone to fits of depression, and he was also a very bad alcoholic. He could not handle his alcohol. And so he would start out with one beer, and like, okay, he's fine, he's happy. Then he would drink 2 beers. Okay, he's fine, he's even happier. But then by the time he had that 3rd beer, something would click. And he would take that 3rd beer, and literally he would tip his head back and open his throat. I've never seen anybody do this. And just open his throat and drain the bottle in about 2 seconds flat. And reach for again and again and again. Literally drinking to just get completely smashed. And then he would go lock himself in the bathroom and try and hurt himself. And I know that he was doing that at that particular time because he had a wife who ran around on him, and he was all messed up about it. But that wasn't the only time or the only incident or the only reason he did it. He did it a lot for any kind of life situation he couldn't handle. And we would say, hey, you need to seriously not drink any alcohol. You turn into a different person. And that, he wasn't a violent drunk. Well, he was a violent drunk. Sometimes I've seen him get violent with other people and unreasonable with other people too. But for the most part, he would get violent against himself. The self-loathing would come out, and the inhibition would come down, and it's scary through him, and it's like essentially trying to kill himself. And for the stupidest of reasons. I looked him up on the internet, and I was very happy to see that not only did he survive, but he looks like he got over all that, and he's like a pretty high-ranking sergeant in the Air Force. Because when that was back when I was in the military. We were both in the same in the Air Force together in the same unit, and we were friends, and he left the Air Force right after I got out, and then he got out, and he must have decided to go back in and stay in and retire. But yeah, I'm a pretty strange person, I guess. I go in and I go hang out in a bar and drink nothing but a Coke. Cokes are not really great for you either, but well, anyway, we're here, we're queer, get used to it. Hee hee.